What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. It's that most wonderful time of the year. It's Thanksgiving week, Black Friday week, Cyber Monday week, all kinds of sales. So if you've been patiently waiting on figures, now's the time to start stocking up on all these things that you've held out on. So for me, that's that Transformers Legacy Motor Master. Finally getting him under the $89.99 price tag. That was a little bit too much. I was thinking $79 is where I was a little bit more comfortable paying for him. Ash was able to get him for $72. That was great. But of course, when you're doing this action figure game, you're going to miss out on some sales because you bought a figure a little bit too early. So for me, that was a Storm Collectibles King figure. Big Tekken fan, so I was so excited to get that guy. Put him in action against the Mishima family because that's all I've got so far on the Tekken collection. But now Bandai Namco's store has him for $63. So if you've missed out, if you held out, unlike me, you can get him for a great deal. They've got Reptile, they've got a lot of other figures at really cheap prices. I kind of wish I'd held out a little bit longer to take advantage of these sales, but if you have, now's the time to get them. Then on the wrestling figure front, lots of big sales. Ringside Collectibles is doing their Black Friday sale. You can get a lot of figures, a lot of elites for under $10. Lots of Ultimate Edition figures for right around $20, which is great because their regular retail price is $32.99. So it's really good. It's that perfect time of year. Hasbro Pulse just shot off the email saying we're going to have a big sale starting tomorrow, lasting until Cyber Monday. I can't wait to see all the stuff. I'm like that little meme with the girl with the gif. It's like, I'm so excited. I really am excited. There's so much to look forward to. And I have deliberately waited, held out so long to get a bunch of these figures. So now I can get them, hopefully, for a lot cheaper. Today I want to talk about wrestling figure news because there's a lot going on lately. And I felt like I've been neglecting all of my wrestling collector fans out here too. So I want to talk about that stuff. So PowerTown Wrestling decided you guys supported that first wave so much and the pre-order windows closed. We're going to open it back up. So you guys have a limited time to get that first wave. That's Luthez, Verne Gagne, Magnum TA, Kerry Von Erich, Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody. Got all these guys and you can get one more shot to get them. And I really love that because I hate the sense that people who wanted them just didn't have the money at the time, didn't get a chance to get them. Now you get another chance to actually get these figures. PowerTown is starting to show some more prototypes. These are very encouraging because of figures. You get a little sense of how that articulation is for these guys. While it doesn't have some of those standard joints you expect, like double elbows, butterfly shoulders, you can see they've got a little bit more tilt in the torso articulation, which means Stan Hansen should be able to dip back pretty far to hit his lariat. Magnum TA can hopefully stretch, grab one, do his belly to belly really well. Of course, Kerry Von Erich hits the Iron Claw, no problem. Lots to be excited about. I'm really curious about the range on the leg hip articulation because I need to see if Bruiser Brody can in fact do his big boot to somebody's face. So I'm looking forward to that. They've shown Stan Hansen, they've shown Verne Gagne, and with Verne Gagne's ring robe, it's kind of interesting, or his ring jacket. It looks like it's made of a material that isn't that clawy, clean kind we've seen from Jakks, Mattel, and Jazwares. It looks like it's big enough that you can pull it off, peel it off without it being this thing of like, oh man, am I messing up the shoulder joint? It looks like it's just big enough that you can pull it off with no problem, which is great because that was always a sticking point with those plastic jackets, those plastic robes. You had to kind of feel like you were putting your figure at risk just taking off the ring gear. So it doesn't look like that's going to be the case with these figures. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm hoping that we get some more news really soon on Series 2 because I'm ready for this line to succeed. I want to see more of these figures. I want to see Rock and Roll Express, the Koloss, the Midnight Express, whoever they can get in this line. I want to see more figures because they're filling in some gaps that are really necessary and really essential to a full-fledged wrestling figure collection. So the Jazwares AEW King of Hearts Owen Hart figures starting to go out now. We've seen some glamour shots from influencers out there. The figure looks okay. I'm still not quite sold on that Owen likeness. I guess if I kind of squint, I can see it, but it's not as good as I would have liked. And clearly, of course, I want that long hair one so I can kind of fudge him in or throw him into, cobbled makeshift version of Owen Hart during his WWE stint where he's fighting Bret Hart, teaming with Bret as the new Hart Foundation, because that was one of my favorite eras of all the WWF. So I'm hoping they continue to crank out more Owen figures, hopefully improve that likeness, because the articulation on the figure looks pretty good, but it still could look a little bit better. So Mattel announced, along with their partnership with Ringside Collectibles, that they're going to be doing a special launch party of the Mega Powers 2-pack. Of course, that's Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, complete with hand-shaking hand sculpt, which is awesome. So they're going to have a special release of that. They're also going to show off some figures. This is going to be at Hogan's Beach Shop, so you can see the Hulkster. Unfortunately, no Macho Man, of course. It's kind of a shame because, man, it'd be great to have Macho Man in attendance and these kind of things too. Reminiscing. Kind of like how you see Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels now, best of buds, hanging out doing stuff. It'd be nice to see Hogan and Macho Man in that same capacity. So anyway, we're going to see those figures, but Mattel is also going to reveal a few new figures and have a Q&A. So maybe we'll get some answers, some questions to, hey, what are you going to do now that there's no Ultimate Edition Jeff Jarrett? One figure we do know is coming is an Ultimate Edition Logan Paul. I'm not a hater so much on Logan Paul. I don't really care one way or the other about him. But when I think of how few Ultimate Edition spots we get, specifically of modern stars, we've got a Roman Reigns, we've got AJ Styles coming. I feel like there's so many more modern stars I'd rather have than Logan Paul. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley. It's just kind of like, man, wait for a celebrity superstar to cut the line so dramatically. I mean, the figure looks cool, looks good, I suppose. But I'm like, wow, guys, that's really interesting. I guess they think Logan Paul, with his YouTube subscribers, his followers, is really going to sell a lot of figures. He's going to be on Mattel's creation.mattel site, so you're not going to have to worry about him clogging the pegs at retail. But he is $45, which seems excessive for that guy. I don't know. I guess there's going to be a big demand for it, but I think putting him online, making him an online exclusive was the right way to go. Speaking of online exclusives from Mattel, the Coliseum Collection Ultimate Edition Hulk Hogan and Terry Funk is still available. Unlike the Zeus Hulk Hogan No Holds Barred set, which sold out in like 20 seconds, this one is still in stock. I like this because people who maybe didn't have the money earlier can get them, maybe take advantage of some holiday money. You can grab the figures. The one thing I really wish they had done differently with this set was mix up the colors. And I know the Hulk Hogan is based off the LJN figure with the red tights, but then the Terry Funk should have green chaps. And Asher Fair Attack, Steve Ozer said that was a decision called by Bill, and Bill decided let's just go with the exact same figure we got with Legends Series 2. And I don't know if you guys remember way back in the day, but that Legends Series 2 Terry Funk was everywhere. It was the one figure that just kind of stayed on the pegs forever. And I wish they had decided, let's mix it up, let's do the green, because that would have made it more unique and made it stand out a little bit more. I really love those alternate head sculpts. This pack is $70. I'm still not quite sure if I want to go all the way and grab it. I think if Hogan was in white tights, I probably for sure would have gotten it, because I like that look for him. It's a nice alternate color scheme for the Hulkster. But I just wish there was something a little bit different, a little bit more with that Terry Funk figure. But I really appreciate the fact that we're still able to get this set. And that's really cool. And then, of course, we know the next 2-pack of Coliseum Collection figures is Jake the Snake Roberts and Ravishing Rick Rude. That's exciting. And, of course, led me to start thinking, well, what would be some other viable 2-packs? You know, not necessarily tag teams, but figures who had rivalries during the LJN era that would make for good figures. And I'm thinking maybe we're not going to see a lot of first time in the line figures, but who are some figures, some repaints of existing guys that we really could use that would be really great in this set? So I just came up with a few. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in his black all-out karate gear. That's when I started following this guy. I didn't really pay attention. I didn't watch NWA to know that he wasn't Karate Dude. When I started watching WWF, he was basically Karate Dude. And I thought he was amazing, so cool in that role. So I want him in the black tights or the black underpants and then the red tights underneath. I love to see that. And I figured, who was the best guy to have Ricky Steamboat go against? Let's go with Don Morocco. I felt that elite version had a super-sized head. It was a little bit too big. Maybe putting him on an Ultimate Edition mold would work a little bit better. They can put him in the black tights so we get the full, he's a bad guy. And maybe they give him the alternate head sculpt with a little bit more of a beard or just a scruffy 5 o'clock shadow, because Morocco was a huge heel during the 80s. And I'd love to see him in that Ultimate Edition line. I think he'd be a really cool figure. Then next up, who else do we need to get in this? Of course, Roddy Piper. It feels like he's been hanging in the breeze for so long. We've gotten all these different figures, but not the Hot Rod. And I'm kind of torn which way they should go. I assume the best way is to go short-haired. We'll go in with the longer hair versions from Superface era later. But let's do short-haired. That way we can get a heel and a face expression. We can just go with his 1987. He's fighting Adrian Adonis, where he's still got the short hair, but you can still get the fully expressive versions of Piper that can double as a WrestleMania 1 to team up with Paul Orndorff, who still also needs an Ultimate Edition figure to go against your Hulk Hogan, your Mr. T from Ultimate Edition Wave 13. So we get him, and let's just not play anything funny. Let's go with the obvious choice here. Match him up with Cowboy Bob Orton. This accomplishes 2 goals. They can fight because they had a big rivalry when the Ace started teaming up with Adrian, having being his bodyguard, rocking the pink hat, and it can also just be Piper's bodyguard. Of course, we need to have the cast removable like that last Elite that was so cool, and all the good trappings with him. Fun figure. Got good likenesses of Orton anyway. Need to get him so he can do the superplex off the top rope or your new generation ring. So let's get those 2 in another 2-pack. And then there's so many more. I had a whole list, but I'm going to just do one more. Let's do Macho Man. Because, I mean, how have we gotten so long without a classic cape version Macho Man in this Ultimate Edition line? Let's get him with the full cape, sunglasses, you name it, the headband, the wraps. Have him go against Tito Santana. The previous Tito was in Strikeforce era, kind of like, I'm really good still, but I'm not beating a lot of people. But I want to see Tito Santana when he was in his prime, when he was the Intercontinental Champion. Give him that ring jacket, because that can give him that added bonus of being an Ultimate Edition figure. Give him that shorter hairstyle. Give him some green tights, red tights, whatever. Black boots. I want Tito in his solo run, so that way I can get my Strikeforce. I got my Strikeforce Tito. Still need my Strikeforce Rick Martel. But that would be really cool to get him. So Macho Man versus Tito Santana. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Don Morocco. And Roddy Piper versus Cowboy Bob Orton. So that's it in terms of my wrestling figure stuff that I want to see. And we're going to see some more new reveals November 28th. I'll make sure to break them down. Feeling a lot better. All the medicine's kicked in right now, so that's good. And I'm really looking forward to all the big sales on Black Friday from Ringside Collectibles and everywhere else that sells these wrestling figures. Let me know what figures you're looking forward to grabbing tomorrow over the course of the next few days. For now, thank you as always for watching. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.